Welcome to Stock Therapy with Penny Queen. Today I'm going to be talking to Comstock investors about the history I had with another company and how I think it really relates here. So I'll give you my basic spoiler. This company is called Microvision. I bought in at 26 cents. It ran to $28. Spoiler alert, it probably trades around $1.50 today. They had really cool technology, but they were unable to actually execute and finish the deal. They weren't able to make their deals profitable, is actually probably more accurate, but really high quality technology. The reason I bring this up is because I've heard a lot of people talk about Comstock and whether or not it's going to be successful. And I think it is going to be successful. That's why I'm here. But also it doesn't necessarily matter if we're talking about the stock. So people invest in a lot of different ways and they're all valid. I've said it before that there are almost as many ways to make money in this market as there are to lose them. But for me, I invest in companies that I think are truly disruptive. They're typically clean technology companies, and the way that I invest is informed by all the ways I made and lost money on Microvision. And you know, I'm going to try and put up some charts and a spreadsheet so you can understand what's going on here. But the basics is that Microvision never was actually successful. They're still an operating business. They're trading around $1.50, but they managed to make it all the way up to 28 bucks, and that was half on account of the retail that was invested in them and that excitement, and it was half on their actual potential. Now, when I look at Comstock, I see a lot of technology that's very valid and that can all be successful. It needs money. It definitely needs money to back them up. So when we got that news release Monday morning, I was absolutely gutted to see it. But I think everything in the news release was absolutely necessary. Does a company need to have more shares available? Yes. Is a reverse split a really good way to do it? It is. Reverse splits can be problematic. People can push the price down afterwards. There's lots of room for manipulation, but it has to be done in order for them to be a legitimate company when dealing with these other much larger companies. So now for Comstock to come to a company with a really bloated share count and low valuations, I think it'll be difficult for them to be taken seriously. The other thing that was brought up in the shareholder letter was the potential to break it into multiple companies. I think this is absolutely necessary. I hope they do it. I've already tried telling this story to other investors and it becomes so complicated. I find absolute value in each of the business units, but when you're trying to sell somebody something, it makes a much better story if you can keep it focused on that one thing that you are truly good at. Metals and mining, I think, are very valid businesses. Absolutely. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the focus is on fuels. Fuels is where shareholders are going to see the biggest return and where this is going to have the biggest impact on the world. The technological readiness level is there. They're ready to deal with big companies. So if you can separate it, all the better. But at a minimum, we need the company to be able to make deals. And, the shareholder value wasn't cut, but the share price was cut in half yesterday. So I want people to understand that that's something that's going to happen. So I want to talk about best case scenario, how we invest. I like to look at the RSI, the relative strength index, to see if something is overbought. If you look here on this chart, you can see I've got the actual price here as that goes up and down, but this area down here is the RSI. Between 30 and 70, most people consider to be a buy zone. I like to buy lower. My initial buy on Comstock was at 12.7 cents, almost the bottom, and it looked much like this section here, where it was really low. It was right around 30, but these sections here where it's up over, this is where It's really going for a run, but you can expect it to fall. And if you look at the top, you see the RSI drops as the price drops. So I'm just going to cut right to microvision, and so we can talk about this. 26 cents to 28 bucks. When I entered this, the company was at risk of being delisted. They've been a NASDAQ company, and they needed 10 days above $1. So I'm going to show you this spreadsheet. I just had the historic close from the entire time I was in this company. So first day, 26 cents. I buy in, it drops down to 25. I'm unhappy because I thought stocks moved 10% in a year, and I'm already down 7.5. I know nothing about the market at this point, and I made a very large purchase because I apparently don't have enough sense of risk. So I'm in this stock for a couple of weeks before we actually hit $1 for the first time. We went up 147% in one day, and then 2 days later we went down 25% in a day. So it was an absolute roller coaster. As you see, all these days, maybe 5, 10%, but people are starting to talk more and more about the company. Then we get to June, and we have a run of 10 days over $1. Everyone is ecstatic. That means they can now stay on the NASDAQ. We keep going, mostly good days. And then finally we hit and clear $2 here one day. Now for me, I'm almost at 10x my initial investment. I've never sold any of it. I'm considering buying more. And then we have, we make it up to 250 by August. Next day we retrace a quarter, and we're at $1.89. The board, you can look on StockTwits, it was absolutely crazy. A lot of emotion. We hit $2 again in September, and we keep going. Oh, another bad day. Now we're down to 170, makes it down to 160. Then we reclaim $2 in November. And now here we have, in December, it breaks $3. This is when Discord groups have finally been created, and there's more of a sense of community and people are talking. So we break $3 one day. We break $4 the very next day. A couple days later, we hit 5, 6, then 9, and then we retrace back to 6. So when a stock goes on a big run, you can almost always expect a retracement. And a lot of people toss around 38%. It happens a lot, happens to hit that a lot of times, and I don't know if that's just because people say it will and people become convinced of it. But going from $9 a share back to $6.60 was enough for some people on the board to be completely done with the stock. It was too volatile. And I can tell you that a lot of these run-ups happened when the quarterly financials were going to come out, because that's when the company speaks, and everybody was so convinced that there was news. So you'd have this happen. Oh, $9, now we're back down to 6. Now we're treading water, we're at 5, we're at 6, we're at 7. Now look at this run. We break 9 one day, break 10, break 11, break 12. So what's going to happen after this? Well, a couple days later, you would expect it to fall. Now we're at 14, now we're at 17, $18. Hits a high of 23 here. Now this is February, so it's been 10 months that this roller coaster ride has been going on, and by the 23rd, it's back to $13. Scary day for anybody, but again, after that we have closes above 17, 18, keeps going, and here we have it. Monday, April 26th, a year and 6 days after I invested in this company, it went from 26 cents to $26. Now, easy math would say I could have gone 100x on this company, but I absolutely didn't. And the reason I didn't is because I got scared and I sold shares at the wrong time. I think I ended up going 18x. I didn't understand that when we got those new high highs, it would pull back. if it did pull back, I overreacted. There were people there that made much more than 100 times their investment. There were people who invested at the same time that I did that worked on technical analysis the entire time, and they would say, I think it's going to hit, its support at $10. And everybody on the boards would say, no, it's not going to happen. This is going to be $50 tomorrow. And it would come back and it would hit that 10. And it took me the first 8 months of that run to truly understand this lesson. The reason that I made as much as I did was because partway through this run, I saw some mispriced options. The stock was trading around $1 and I was able to buy 2-year leaps. What I'm trying to show you here is that if the stock falls 50% in a day, it doesn't mean that all hope is lost. It means that it is functioning like a small cap. Small cap stocks are riskier because they have deficiencies. Now, either they don't have enough money, they have too many shares, there's problems with management, the technology isn't proven. You can pick any variety of these, and if you ask different shareholders, they'll all give you different reasons. As far as Comstock, I trust the CEO. As far as the technology, I trust the technology. Things that aren't good is the share structure and the valuation. But a low valuation is an absolute dream to me. So, again, none of this is investment advice, but I just want people to be a little more relaxed about the swings. If you can't be relaxed about the swings, I need you to think about how much money you should have invested here, because you shouldn't go to sleep stressed out, right? This should not be the money that you need to pay your bills. This should be the money that you are setting aside for a well-planned and researched roller coaster ride, because there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. But I think this is world-changing technology, and I think we have the right players involved to actually get it there. And there's a few more steps that need to be taken. So I don't know what the month of, the end of January and the beginning of February look like for us trading. I would hope that the company is able to come out with a lot of news after the reverse takes place. And I suspect that the reverse will be done at a smaller, 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. I think 1 to 20 was put there, as a just in case. But I think there's enough support here around 30. So I'm excited to see where it goes, and I'm super excited about this technology, and I'm very, very thrilled to have found another company that's going to be a really fun ride. So if anybody has any questions for me or thinks that I misstated anything, go ahead and contact me. My email is down below, or you can find me in Discord or Reddit. So take care.